Good evening, everybody. Another week, another tech demo. This week is an interesting tech demo. Our topic is going to be surrounding formative assessment, and it's a little challenging, I will not lie, but I think that I came up with some pretty cool technology tool that we can use together. So let's just hop into it. As always, we have a scenario. And our scenario this week is Mr. Jackson's ninth grade project. So, Mr. Jackson, he is a ninth grade English language arts teacher. He has been working with his students on this novel project. Next week, the students will be giving a mini oral presentation to their classmates about how the characters in the novel progress over the course of the story. He usually has the students use PowerPoint slides with index cards, and then he uses that to facilitate the presentations. He watches it out loud, collects their notes, and then that's how he grades their work. Well, before we get too far into what we want to accomplish here, we have to keep in mind that we have to have some content standards. It's high school, so the two that we have to work with this week is, one, analyze how complex characters develop over the course of a text, interact with other characters, and advance the plot or develop the theme. So that's pretty self-explanatory for this project. We're watching a character development over the course of a unit. The other content standard that we need to work on is present information, findings, and supporting evidence clearly, concisely, and logically such that listeners can follow along. The reasoning and the organization, development, substance, and the style are appropriate to the purpose and the task of the assignment. We have the groundwork laid with the content standards, so let's just hop into some of the goals that Mr. Jackson has for us. Number one, he wants us to formally assess how well the students are able to analyze character and thematic development. It's a complex and important skill, I agree, and it needs to be deeply and accurately assessed. Number two, he wants to formally assess students' oral presentation skills. Also an important skill that needs to be deeply and accurately assessed. He wants students to learn from each other. As students listen to one another's presentations, they usually take notes about the character. After all the students give their presentation, each student writes a paper summarizing how they all combine to make multiple different interpretations. As a formal summative assessment, he wants to be able to give students not just a grade, but very detailed feedback about their literary analysis and oral presentation skills. So we have to keep in mind that this is a ninth grade level class. They're probably not going to be too advanced in literary analysis, so we have to make sure that we have opportunities to give very thorough and clear feedback to the students, not only on the literary analysis part, but oral presentations, because students are very, very fearful of oral presentations. We have the goals kind of said pretty clearly, but as always, there has to be some challenges or it wouldn't be a tech demo. And one of the biggest challenges, as we have clearly established already, is that students do not enjoy a presentation format. It is something that is a tale as old as time, so to say. Students have very high anxiety. They do not like standing up in front of the class. And the audience will probably get fatigued. They'll probably find it very, very disinteresting to spend an entire period not really listening, but just looking at other students give their presentations. So in the past, Mr. Jackson has tried other versions of this assignment. One of these examples was an art project, but it was very difficult to accurately assess their knowledge and their literary analysis skills based on this art project. And there's no real way to assess or develop oral presentation skills. Another important challenge that we have to take in mind is that it's difficult to students to remember everything that their classmates say and present, especially when you have to write a paper about it. Students often misremember or just don't remember much at all. Another problem that we have found ourselves faced with, there's 60 students. It's a lot of class time. It's a lot of work that the teacher has to do, and it is very hard to keep track of this. So our goal is to find an accurate technology tool that will help Mr. Jackson kind of avoid these challenges. But first, before I unveil the technology tool that I found, I want to talk a little bit more about what formative assessment actually means. So I have a definition right here. Formative assessment is the wide variety of methods that teachers use to conduct in-process evaluations of student comprehension, learning needs, and academic progress during a lesson, unit, or course. So you really don't want to have a student kind of go blind throughout the whole project. So formative assessment is a way to consistently track their progress while making sure that they stay on track and that they are accurately learning the information that the teacher wants to convey. So with that being said, I have a technology tool that I have fell in love with, honestly. I've never heard of it before I did this tech demo project, but once I started playing around with it, I really think that it will be a great technology tool to use in my classroom. Not only just high school level, but really any level of class activities. And that technology tool is a great tool for not only teachers to use, but for students to get engaged in. One thing that I really found so interesting about it is this idea of constantly tracking a student's progress. That's what a formative assessment is really about. And one thing that Seesaw does really well is it makes it so plain for not only the student to see, but for the teacher to see. And I think it'll develop a lot of strategies for teachers to kind of diversify how they teach in their classroom. And that is one of the biggest benefits that I have found from Seesaw. I think that is all that I have to speak about on this today. I hope that this tech demo gained some insight not only for students who are looking for other technology tools, but as future educators, how we can kind of shake up the game, so to say. Yeah, I hope you all have a good evening. Thank you. Let's go back to this slide here. What I really enjoy with this is that as an instructor, you have the ability to make these class journals public for students to see. And for assignment that requires a little write-up at the end of the unit, it's great to go back and see not only from an individual's level, but from a whole class unit level that you can go back and see previous statements, previous works. And also, in the event of a big oral presentation at the end of the unit, a teacher can just place these videos in this file right here or in the larger folder, and students can individually seek out the type of videos. There's a way to track that for teachers to see if they completed this assignment, so you can also manage ways to tell if students are actually watching the videos or not. So I love Seesaw. I think that it is one way that we can get this information out for students is pushing out notifications. So I have this right here. Good morning, class. Don't forget to update your character assignment. It makes it simple. It makes it very easy for students to remember what they're doing. And it also makes for the teacher to very well see how the student tracks their character's progression throughout the story. Now, I also want to go a little bit more in depth about the activity slide. So, if an instructor wants to go above and beyond, and let's say they want more of like attention on the oral presentation side, they can start pushing out these activities that students can respond to. So I just have this right here, give a detailed description of the character as of right now. How has he or she changed? How has he or she stayed the same? Give a quote from the novel to explain. Now, There's multiple ways that, as an instructor, you can facilitate this portion. You can have them type in a response, but if, like Mr. Jackson, you are trying to focus on students' ability to give oral presentations, like this one right now, you'll have them just upload a quick video. Seesaw is great for embedding video and audio, and you can just shoot that right from the website, and you can just drop it in. There you go. Now, what's so great about this assignment is that progressively you can see not only the progression of their respective character in the novel, but also their prowess as an oral presenter. And one way that we can keep students on track with this is with a calendar option. Now, the calendar option is simple. Everybody knows how a calendar works, but students can see when these activities are due, when they need to do it, what their goal is. So you can also track that with them. Another way for teachers to track this is they have a built-in activity progressor check. So as an instructor, you can select your own set of skills that you want each student to work on. Now, over the course of a unit or a semester, you can see how they continuously master those skills. So it works great for a project such as this. I think that students will also have a lot more fun with it when they see that they're working towards a goal. And also it gives them an opportunity to orally present in a manner that is less stressful. So if we want to